You ever see one of those super slick AI systems and think to yourself, yeah, I could probably build that? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on what it really takes. We're not just going to look at the shiny finished product. Nope. We're going on the entire messy, real life journey of building a fully automated, AI powered outreach pipeline completely from scratch on Google Cloud. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. What if you had a system that could find leads, do all the research, write a genuinely personalized email, and all you have to do is give it a final yes or no? That is the dream, right? The dream of perfect automation. And honestly, that was the ambitious goal for this whole project. Okay, so here's the plan. On paper, the architecture was just beautiful, a perfect five-step dance. As you can see, it all kicks off with a trigger. That was a simple Google Cloud Scheduler job. From there, an AI agent, which was a custom cloud function, does all the research. Then, another AI, using Google's own APIs, generates the email draft. Step 4, a human, that's me, gives the final thumbs up to approve, and finally, the system sends it out. It looks clean, it's logical, it seemed almost too easy. But here is exactly where that dream slams headfirst into reality. This quote, it sums up the entire experience better than I ever could. The glamorous part is drawing that perfect diagram on a whiteboard. The real work, the stuff that actually matters, is you alone fixing some obscure bug at 2 in the morning. This is where the story truly begins. So, let's get right into it. It's time to do a little autopsy on that perfect plan and see exactly what went wrong when it collided with the messy, unpredictable, and often frustrating real world. You know, the first wall I hit had nothing to do with fancy AI. It was the basic plumbing. I'm talking about simple stuff, like getting the email server to authenticate correctly. It just failed over and over again. Then the cloud scheduler, the very first step in the whole chain, was misconfigured. And that is so frustrating, right? Because these aren't complex AI challenges. This is just getting the fundamental pieces to talk to each other, which, believe me, is often the most fragile part of any new system. So once the systems were finally talking, the data itself started to fight back. You wouldn't believe it. A single special character in a company's name, like an accent mark, something not in the standard English alphabet, would crash the entire pipeline. The research agent would try to visit a website that was down or maybe blocked our scraper, and boom, the whole process would just grind to a screeching halt. After weeks of these late-night debugging sessions, a really powerful and, yes, slightly painful lesson started to emerge from all that chaos. It turns out the real challenge wasn't that initial cool-looking design. It was everything that came after. And this chart, wow, this chart says it all. The real workload of building any kind of automation isn't what you think. It's not 80% cool architecture and 20% fixing a few bugs. No way. It is the complete opposite. A staggering 80% of my time was spent hunting down and solving these weird, unforeseen problems. Only about 20% was spent on that initial glamorous design phase. So what was all that work, really? Well, it was dealing with what we call edge cases. And here's the definition. They're those weird, unexpected problems that only happen under very specific conditions. You never plan for them. You know, the broken websites, those unusual characters, the server that times out for no reason. These are the things that truly test whether your automated system is robust or just a house of cards. But here's the good news. After battling through all of those failures, all of those edge cases, something absolutely amazing happened. It worked. The system actually worked. So let's take a look at the payoff for all that struggle. And the transformation was just night and day. What used to be hours of my life spent on manual research and repetitive typing, well, it became a fully automated process. It now runs every single day like clockwork and requires zero manual work from me beyond that one final, satisfying approval click. And the end result of all that painful debugging? 100%. A fully automated, reliable, daily pipeline that does exactly what it was designed to do every single time. All that pain, all those late nights, it led to a system that just works. Now, successfully building a system like this isn't just a cool technical win. This whole experience really points to a much bigger shift that's happening in our industry right now. It's about a new way of thinking, a new way of working. Really, it's about a new breed of marketer. And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. AI isn't here to replace the work. It's here to replace the boring, repetitive parts of the work. And that frees you up to focus on the things that are distinctly human. You know, the strategy, the creativity, building real relationships. And that leaves us with one last provocative thought. The future isn't about AI replacing marketers. The real shift is that marketers who can build systems like this are going to replace the marketers who can't. So the question is, which one are you going to be?